G'day guys, Shane and Braden here from Errol Street Physiotherapy. Today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about ACL injury, how we injure our ACL and some practical strategies that we can implement to reduce our risk of suffering an ACL injury. Now with team sports coming back to train in smaller groups, and hopefully in a not too distant future we're going to see local competitions starting up again. We're going to see a big spike in these high-speed actions such as cutting to evade an opponent or landing from a jump under fatigue.
Yeah, and so with these actions, we actually increase the chance of that ACL injury happening. So we want to make sure that we train the optimal body mechanics in order to reduce that risk of injury.
So how does ACL injury actually occur? So typically it happens during a deceleration movement pattern. So what that means is we're in the field of play, we're running at high speed, and we're having to slow down our body to change our direction of travel. We might be cutting around an opponent, we might be landing from a jump and having to absorb the ground reaction forces coming up at us. We could be in a bit of an awkward body position. So what we'll do now, there's some common biomechanical abnormalities that we see that will coincide with these movement patterns, and we'll take you through some of these. So some of these common patterns that we see, one in particular is landing or cutting with the body backwards of the leg. So the center of mass back of the leg can put an extra strain onto the ACL. Similarly, if we land or cut on a straight knee without any knee bend, this can load up the ACL. From a front-on perspective, if we see someone who comes into a cut with a wide step and an externally rotated foot or a turned out foot, this can put an increased force to push the knee inwards and load up the ACL. And similarly, if we see someone who trunk leans out over the leg, over the stance leg, this can put an inwards force onto the knee and damage the ACL.
So we need to train the opposite of these patterns in order to protect our ACL. But with the high mental demands of sport, often we're thinking about the boundary line of the opponent, tactics, hand passing, all those things that we need to be thinking about. And so we don't really have enough mental capacity to worry about our knee. So that means we need to make sure that the exercises have an external focus, meaning that we're focusing on a ball, we're focusing on an opponent, rather than just thinking about where my knee is in space or the position of it.
Okay, so the ball drop exercise is a great way to promote that knee bending without actually thinking about the knee bending. Braden's going to drop the ball and catch it at its lowest point. Now we can progress that exercise by adding a reactive component to it. So Braden's got his eyes closed, I'm going to say drop, and he's going to open his eyes and catch. Drop. Athletic position, mini band exercise. We can see here Braden's got his knee well forward and bent. He has to have it in this position to be able to lift the back leg off. And the exercise is to lift that back leg off repeatedly. If he has his knee back into that straight position, then you can't get the back leg off, so you know that he's not executing the exercise correctly. Drops. We've got Braden here. He's got a band around his knees in order to push out into the band on landing. And the idea is to put some force into the ground. So he's going to drop down, put force into the ground, and land with a bent knee, keeping his knee tensioned into the band. So mini band and lateral drives, we've got to stick out the front horizontally. So Braden's pushing into the ground to come towards me. He's pushing the ground away, but he's trying to keep that stick really horizontal. So if it tilts, what will happen is his body will tilt over his leg and promote one of those faulty patterns that we see in ACL. Right, so the hop to bound exercise is a great way to get some of that sport-specific training. So Braden's going to hop and he's going to bound out and catch. An external focus with the ball.